The German Nazis were about to hang them. Everything was prepared, but they didn't know some resistance fighter, including a girl with sniper, are about to devastate Nazis' dreams. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
Devious.
During World War II, a pivotal meeting takes place in London, where officials plan a mission to transport a stolen German submarine filled with uranium from the Belgian Congo to New York for the Manhattan Project. General Mays assigns this challenging task to a band of German resistance fighters led by Stan.
I surrender.
Stan and his group are based in Flanders, where they capture and eliminate German soldiers in retaliation for Nazi war crimes. Among them is Stan's daughter, Nadine, who feels frustrated because her father never includes her in combat, leading her to believe he doubts her abilities. Her boyfriend, Philip, reassures her that Stan only wants to protect her.
He just wants to protect his little girl, that's all.
Philip also shows her a unique bullet, which she tests, only to be shocked by its destructive power. Stan, respected as a fearless leader, suffers from traumatic memories of being held captive by the Germans, who killed his wife before his eyes and tortured him for information. While caring for him, Nadine tries to talk to him about her mother and her brother, Louis, who she believes is in France, but Stan always evades the topic. Soon, a fellow resistance fighter approaches the group with details of the mission to transport uranium to the United States. The group agrees to take on the mission and travels to the Congo, where Captain Mays briefs them on their task.
And our destination is here.
Mays explains that the uranium is intended to build a bomb powerful enough to annihilate entire cities within seconds. He emphasizes the urgency, as they only have 3 weeks to master submarine operations, with no possibility of bringing along unnecessary personnel. To aid in their training, Captain Franz, a German Navy soldier, is brought in. Although Stan initially resists Franz's involvement, Mays convinces him of its necessity. Franz informs them that the submarine is armed with torpedoes, though they are strictly forbidden from using them, as the mission is focused on transport, not combat. He then leads the group through the submarine's compartments. Following the orientation, Mays assigns roles to everyone but Nadine. When Nadine confronts Stan about this, he reveals that she won't be joining them on this dangerous mission. Despite her protests, Stan stands firm, determined to keep her safe. With the initial training from Franz, the group manages to start the submarine's engines. The next morning, they begin loading uranium boxes into the submarine as Nadine prepares to depart. Werner intercepts a radio signal, indicating that German Navy vessels are nearby. He alerts the group, who spot the approaching enemy ships. Realizing the danger, Mays orders them to submerge the submarine immediately, as further training isn't feasible. Although Mays had initially promised Franz's release, the urgency forces him to take Franz along. Franz resists, knowing the mission's perilous odds, but a sudden gunshot disrupts the group as Franz kills Mays. Enraged, Stan attempts to avenge Mays, but Werner stops him, reminding Stan of their need for Franz's navigational skills. After the confrontation, Stan meets Nadine and informs her she'll stay behind as the boat departs. The group starts boarding the submarine, discovering that Jenga, a local man who had joined them on the boat, is also present. Franz is initially reluctant to bring Jenga, but they accept his presence. With time running out, they dive the submarine, though water begins leaking inside. Franz, though restrained by handcuffs, attempts to assist, but Stan refuses to unshackle him, wary of his intentions. A German aircraft soon searches the area, but fails to locate the submerged submarine. Tam, one of the crew members, accidentally activates the wrong valve, causing water to flood the submarine and putting their lives at risk due to the batteries located below. Franz steps in to prevent further damage, and they are forced to resurface to pump out the water. The aircraft spots them, but does not attack. Franz warns that if they dive again, they will be targeted, as submerged submarines make easier targets. Werner suggests waiting until the aircraft runs out of fuel, but Franz insists that reinforcements are likely on the way. Under his guidance, they dive once more, with Stan bravely shooting down the aircraft just before it strikes. That night, Stan suffers another nightmare, haunted by memories of his son, Louis, who was drowned by German soldiers while he was helplessly chained. This moment of reflection makes him consider removing Franz's handcuffs, though he ultimately refrains. Later, when Franz finds Philip and Nadine together, he tries to divert Stan's attention. However, Stan catches them and scolds Philip, telling Nadine she must distance herself from him until they are married. After Philip declares his love, Nadine decides they should marry immediately, rallying everyone on the submarine's deck. Franz starts the ceremony, but Philip insists on waiting for Stan. Just then, Stan bursts in with urgent news about approaching enemy ships, forcing everyone back inside. Philip tries to comfort Nadine, promising they'll marry in America. Nadine happily mentions introducing him to her mother in France, but Philip, knowing her family's fate, is saddened. Shocked, Nadine realizes Stan never told her about her family's tragedy. The danger escalates when a German torpedo nearly hits the sub. Franz orders silence and readies a counterattack, tasking Van Praag and Khalees to load a torpedo. In the process, Van Praag's legs are crushed, and with Jenga's help, they fire successfully, sinking the enemy vessel. However, the explosion damages their sub, and Van Praag's injuries prove severe. Stan, seeing no alternative, orders an amputation. Franz hesitates, fearing he can't face Van Praag afterward, so they resort to getting him drunk to dull the pain, and Werner performs the procedure. Afterward, the crew gathers around a somber Van Praag, and Stan shares a drink with Franz, who now has his handcuffs removed to assist with the engines. They bond as Stan reflects on Van Praag's lost dreams of playing football, while Franz confides he never wanted to fight for the Nazis. As German ships approach, their captain radios, seeking ID. Stan directs Franz to pose as a German captain dealing with technical issues. When the Germans board, Franz plays host, sharing drinks to keep them calm. Their suspicions nearly flare up when Van Praag wakes, screaming over his missing legs, but Franz covers quickly, explaining it's just one of their injured soldiers. However, one German soldier grows suspicious and realizes they aren't who they claim to be, leading to a violent confrontation. In the chaos, both Werner and Van Praag lose their lives. As the captain aims at Stan, Franz intervenes and shoots him, revealing that he understands the Germans' brutality and wants to prevent them from acquiring uranium, fearing the destruction it could cause. They quickly decide to flee the area, but the soldiers on the other ship begin to suspect them. Realizing time is running out, Stan instructs Nadine to shoot down the ship. Using the special bullet that Philip had given her earlier, she successfully destroys it. However, the wreckage hits the submarine, injuring Stan,